Have we done it?
We're done. That's like 5 high fives today from you.
Hey, welcome back to Inner Shelves. I'm Judy.
And I'm Michael.
I'm pretty excited today because we're going up to number 1 to number 10.
Top 10, baby.
Yes, of our 100 board games of all time.
Woohoo!
Okay, so before we start, I just want to remind you again. And when I say final, because we have gone from 100 up to 1, you should know by now.
You should know by now.
Those are ranked by Pub Meeple. So it might be different from our personal preference, but you know what? It's fun to do. And I think you should try it too because it's super fun. It will surprise you.
Yeah, there are some surprises when you use Pub Meeple for sure. And these rankings are from Pub Meeple. So there were a few little surprises, but yeah, all in all, pretty good lists.
Yeah.
Okay, so without further ado, let's get started.
So we're going to start with number 10. All right, my number 10, not surprised, it is from Flat Out Games and it is Cascadia.
Oh,
this is an award-winning game.
Yeah.
It's very fun when it comes to tile laying, tile drafting.
Yeah.
And it comes with different terrains and it's so beautiful.
It is.
So in this game, you are drafting tiles and there are a set and you have to draft the tiles and then lay in different terrains to score differently according to the objective cards, which are represented by different animals.
Yeah.
And there are different scoring mechanisms.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Yep.
It's easy to teach.
Yep.
But it's really hard to master because you have limited time. And it's so fun.
Well, not time, but turns.
Yeah. Well, basically the same.
I know what you mean.
If you take too much time to work on your terrain or deciding if you want to score on this animal or that, you're wasting time because your opponent will be chasing really fast.
Absolutely.
And score more.
Yeah.
That's number 10.
Very cool. Oh, what a great game. Yeah. That was
it.
in my top 20, but not quite 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
Cool.
What is your top number 10?
Okay. My number 10 is a game that you have never played. I'm pretty sure. And I know I'm going to get some heat from my friend because he thinks this should be much higher on my list. But my number 10 is Power Grid.
Wow,
Yeah.
yes.
Very, very brilliant, fantastic game. And I have to admit, this probably could be higher on my list if I had played it more.
It's already a top 10.
It's top 10, but
higher.
It's one of those games where it's right in my wheelhouse and it could be right up there in the top 5, I think. I just haven't played it that many times.
Wow, and we don't have a copy.
That's right. I don't own a copy. My friend does. But in Power Grid, it starts out with there's an auction mechanic, and what you're doing is you're bidding on cards that give you different types of energy resources. Mm-hmm. And you are basically trying to build cities on the map, but you have to run them with power using your cards. But as you are auctioning and buying these power cards, they're getting better and more efficient throughout the game. Mm-hmm. So you're replacing old cards with more efficient cards, and you're just trying to power as many cities as you can. But you also need raw materials to do it. So it has what I love in games. It has a market. Mm-hmm. And you can buy oil or coal or uranium, but it's that supply and demand where when you buy products, they become more expensive. When you sell products, they become cheaper. And so you can manipulate the market that way.
You love that, yes. That also happened in Honey Buzz as well.
Kind of, yeah.
That same mechanism.
Yeah, except Honey Buzz, it only gets cheaper to sell. But this one, it fluctuates up and down. Yeah, and I love that in games.
That's awesome.
It's a fantastic game. It's pretty heavy. It's pretty deep. It takes a little bit to play, but oh boy, is it great.
All right. My number 9, one of my favorite publisher. I love their games since they have those Viking themes. And this one is a bit different. It's the Architects of West Kingdom.
Yeah,
from Garfield Games.
I knew that was going to be on your top 10.
It has to. It's one of the worker placement game that at the very earliest time when I played board game that I really fall in love with, and it's Garfield's. This game, well, like I already said, worker placement, and I think it was in your top 20, but not quite top 10.
Yep.
There are a lot of actions and you're going to different places, like you can advance in cathedral, you can go out get resources, and try not to get captured by your opponent because you have to then pay money and get them back.
Yeah, it's the best mechanic in it. One of the best mechanics in a game that I've ever seen. So if you're building up too many workers in a location, because the more workers you have, the more resources you get. So if I think you're building up too much, I can capture your workers and sell them to the prison.
Yeah. Usually my plane just flushed down the toilet because I want to get more resources, but then you capture me and I have to pay more money.
Yeah.
It's like 2 steps backward.
Yeah.
It is super fun. I love it.
It is a great game.
Yeah, I love it. I want to play now.
Yeah, it's a pretty good game.
That's my number 9.
Cool. My number 9 is I guess I can say this for all 10. One of my favorite games. It is a very Halloween-y game, and it is Dead of Winter.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Love Dead of Winter.
Yes.
It's sandboxy, which means you can kind of go off and you go wherever you want and do whatever you want and go to different locations. You can go to the police station or go to the school, and you're collecting resources to try to fight the zombies, but you also have to feed all of the survivors in the colony. But every game, depending on what objective you use, you have different objectives that you need to complete.
Yes.
So every game's a little bit different. But the mechanic that puts it over the edge for me is that maybe there's a hidden traitor, but you don't know, because everybody it is co-op, but everybody also has a secret objective. So it's semi-co-op.
Yeah.
Now, if there are 4 people playing, you take 8 secret objectives and 1 hidden traitor objective, and you shuffle them together and everybody gets 1 card. So there's a 50-50 chance that somebody at the table is a traitor. But I love it because as you're playing, you're working together to complete the main objectives, but then everybody has a private objective.
Yeah.
But you're also, you can't trust anybody because they might be the traitor.
No.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
It's definitely one of your favorite mechanisms is the hidden traitors, like subject. Who is it?
I've been the traitor before. I've had a game where somebody else was the traitor.
Yes.
And I've had games where nobody ended up being the traitor. But every single time, other than when you're the traitor, because you know, but you're always suspicious of every move everybody does.
Yeah.
I love it.
That is super fun.
So good.
Adds so much spice into it.
So good, yeah. So that is Dead of Winter, my number 9.
Okay. My number 8, I'm going to take you to the pub.
Oh.
It's the Taverns of Tiefenthal.
Such a good game.
I heart this game so much.
Yeah.
It is very it's very interesting because it's very thematic. In this game, you are drafting the dice. Each of us will get 4 dice to roll and put on a coaster. It's so fun.
Yeah.
And you have those Patreon, which is like customer cards on your hand.
Yep.
It's almost like deck building because they do shuffle back and then come back to your hand.
It is totally deck building.
Yeah. And it's very thematic because on the customer card, there is money. And on the staff, the workers, there is beer.
Yeah.
So during this game, your action is going to get you to attract customer. Customer is going to give you money. Money is going to pay for the staff. And staff is going to provide beer.
Yeah.
And it's just going on and on.
Yeah,
and one of my favorite in all the games is they have different modules you can add or not add. It's up to you. And it's just super fun.
It is a fantastic game. This was pretty high on my list too. Not quite top 10, but it was really high on my list. And every single person that I put this game in front of loves it.
I love it.
It's such a great game.
So fun.
Yeah.
It's very relaxing too.
Yeah. Cool.
My number 8.
Cool. Taverns of Tiefenthal. Great game. My number 8 is another game I don't think you've ever played. But
that's
okay. Surprise! This game is, you need to play this game. You will love this game. 5 Tribes.
Oh, yes.
5 Tribes is easily in my top 10 games of all time. I adore this game. it's not very strategic. You can't really have a strong strategy going into this game.
Okay.
It's very much you have to assess the board when it's your turn and act accordingly. So you have all of these different colored meeples on all of these tiles on the board.
Yes.
And you have to pick one tile and you have to pick up all the meeples of different color, all of them. And then you have to drop them one by one and move around the board. And then where your last meeple lands, whatever color that is, that one and all the other of that color in the tile that you landed on, that's the action you can do.
It sounds like my kind of game.
It really is your kind of game, and I think you would love this game. And the actions you can assassinate another meeple on other tiles. You can there's djinns, which are like, because this is very they're like Aladdin type genies and things, and they can give you special powers, and there's all of these different things you can do. But basically, if you take the last meeple, because if you land on a tile where, say, there's one red meeple, and your last one is a red meeple, now you've emptied that tile because you take all the red. You now get possession of that tile, and you get to put your marker on it and score the points for it.
Okay.
Right? And then you can build palaces on them to make them worth more points. And then what's really cool is in a 2-player game, turns just go back and forth. But in a 3 or more player game, then you get to auction for player order at the beginning of each round, which is also very cool.
Yeah.
Because you're auctioning off points, basically. Super tactile, where you're picking things up and moving them around, and you have to assess the board as you play. It's very thinky. I love this game. And I know for a fact, if you play this game, it will be in your top 10 games of all time. I know, because this is a Judie game.
Well, you had me at assassinate other meeples, so absolutely.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right, my number 7 is Istanbul.
Oh,
How could I not mention Istanbul, right? All right, this game is very, very interesting. There is like 4x5 grid, and each grid represents one location and some sort of action you can do. There's coffee house, there's guild hall, silk market, fruit market, and
the bazaars.
There's even black market.
The black market, yeah.
And you can send your relative to jail. Right?
Your cousin.
Yes, there's so many stuff to do. I love this game so much because there's also tea house where you can go in there, roll the dice, and gamble your luck.
Gambling.
I love this game so much.
Yeah, but the main mechanic is you have a stack of tokens with your
workers. Basically.
Workers, and then the top one is your leader. I can't remember what it's called. And as you're moving them, you can move and drop one, and then you can move again and drop one, and your stack is getting smaller, and then you can reverse back and pick them up. And you're kind of doing actions like that. So you're kind of limited on how far you can go based on how many workers you have in your stack.
And you need to be very efficient.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I love this game. It's just very challenging for me because I'm not very efficient. So that is Istanbul.
My number 7 is Istanbul.
No way!
Yeah, totally. My number 7 is Istanbul.
I'm surprised it's on your number 7.
Why?
I don't know.
Where'd you think it was going to be? You know I love this game.
Yeah, but wow. Wow.
It's funny.
High five!
It's funny because not really, but it kind of is a little bit similar to 5 Tribes in that you're moving your tokens around. They're very, very, very different games, but they have that similar kind of DNA to it. But yeah, I love Istanbul. I love
4x5, that's a lot of places to go and a lot of actions you can do.
Yeah.
So fun.
And what I love about Istanbul is I love that the tiles, like all the different locations you were talking about, there are ways that you can set it up where it's the easy way or the more difficult way. This is in the rule book. Or you can just do it randomly. And when you do it random, it means that that the game feels a little bit different every time because a lot of the tiles kind of go together.
Yeah.
Like you need certain resources to go to certain markets and things like that.
Mhm.
So when they're spread apart really far across the board, it makes it a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
Or when they're closer, it makes it easier.
Because you need to go to market to collect the
That's right.
resources and then go sell it for money and
Exactly.
so
And
fun.
sometimes when you're playing a game, kind of the efficiency of the game is you're looking for those quick paths.
Yes.
Right? So maybe this time you're going to collect the gems by going to this market, the large market. Maybe in another game, it's easier if you go to the small market. There's different ways to collect gems, and you can find these little pathways, which I just love that.
So fun.
Oh, such a good
Love
game.
it.
So that was my number 7.
Okay. Number 6, my favorite game of all time, The Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Okay, wait. How can it be your favorite game of all time if it's number 6?
Okay, number 1 and number 10, they're all my favorite. I love it. But I love Quacks of Quedlinburg because every time a parent is asking, hey, what game is good to play with kids?
Yeah.
Anytime someone asking, hey, I have a new board gamer is playing, or anyone that's asking, hey, what should we bring tonight? Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Yeah, fair enough.
It is super fun.
Oh, it's so fun.
Yeah, so Quacks of Quedlinburg, basically you're brewing potions. There's a huge pot and you backdrawing with a cherry bomb. There's 1, 2, and 3, and try not to explode by the number. And I love
fun.
how there are many different recipe books and different. It's not character, but they're so cute that we see it as a character.
Yeah, the ingredients all look like little characters.
It is so fun.
It is fun.
I love it.
I love it because everybody's drawing the ingredients out of their bag and putting it in their cauldron at the same time. But what I love is when you're listening around the table and you hear people going, oh no, I exploded, or like you're just listening to all the chaos ensuing, and it's great.
For me, it's definitely my kind of game because I like risking.
Yeah, you love that push your luck.
Gambling.
Yeah. And that's why your favorite part of Istanbul as well.
Yeah, tea house.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Cool.
Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Amazing. Okay, my number 6 is probably a game that I feel like it's one of the most thematic games. Like I feel like I'm really so immersed into this game that the mechanics kind of disappear. And this is something my friend said about this game. He says, it's great when a game is so thematic the mechanics disappear.
I know what it is.
And it is The Lost Ruins of Arnak.
So good.
Oh, what a
so
great game. I will say that it's this high on my list with the expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Because the expansion gives you asymmetrical player abilities.
Mm-hmm. And that is really powerful.
I love it. I think it really cool. adds to the game.
So much, yeah.
But anyways, Lost Ruins of Arnak, let's be honest, it's Indiana Jones, basically. Even your little meeples look like Indiana Jones.
Well, they're out exploring in the jungle.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah. And it's a deck builder, and it's so cool because you can go out and explore new sites to find new resources and new artifacts, but each of those sites has guardians, which are these creatures that they're bad when they're there, but you can use different resources to overcome them, and then they become your friends.
Yes.
And what I love about this game is the resources in the game. You've got like arrowheads, you've got tablets, you've got rubies, but the movement resources are cars, jeeps, airplane, your boots for walking. And then how far you want to go, you spend compasses, which basically is time. It's how far you need to go.
Your transportation and how far you go, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I love games where cards are multi-use. So it's a deck builder and you can play cards for their actions, or you can use them at the top for the transportation, like the boot or the boat or the cars or whatever. And you're just going out and exploring, but then on the side you've got the temple track where you're trying to get your research all the way up as far as like how much you're researching in the temple.
So hard.
It's so great.
Yeah.
I love this game. So I mean, that theme, I've loved Indiana Jones since I was a kid, right? So I just love this game. Everything about this game is beautiful. It's great. It's fun. It's thematic. Love it.
Love it.
Love it.
Number 5, we're gonna get down to the business as Honey Bus.
Yeah, of course.
It is so good.
Yeah.
Okay, I am a sucker for art in board games. well-known one. So
Yep.
Honey Buzz has beautiful art to start with.
Yeah.
And the gameplay is very smooth and
Yep.
very fun.
Yeah.
You are Pub Meeple. May I say
Beeples.
So this is kind of worker placement. You have a big board where you can go out to collect the nectars.
Foraging.
And then,
Yep.
yeah, foraging, collect the nectars, come in to generate your honey.
Yeah.
And then send it to the market.
Yeah.
You either complete the order or sell it just in the market for the value it is. But it's not that easy because you have your own board and there are several different shapes that you can build your nectar.
Your
And
honeycombs, right? Different honeycomb shapes.
And you get to do the action once the cell is closed.
It's like a worker placement, but kind of in a worker placement, you place your worker and do the action. But this one, you place your worker and you just take a tile that has an action on it. You don't get to do that action yet until you place it in your hive and complete a cell. And then you get to do all the actions around this. It's
one or two extra steps before you can do anything. But once you do it, it's kind of like
it triggers
chain reaction.
Yeah.
It triggers everything.
Yeah.
And then you just went boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
It is so soothing.
Yeah. I love this game.
I know. I love it too. It's Honey Buzz.
It was pretty high on my list too. So such a great game.
Yeah.
Honestly, my top 5 are interchangeable, I think, at any given day. But again, I think this would be top 3 if I included the expansion, but I'm not including the expansion.
Okay.
However, my number 5 is Orleans. Orleans is such a fantastic game, even though Judie put it at like number 90 on her list, which I cannot believe.
Excuse me, Pub Meeple. Pub Meeple.
Okay, I love game.
Orleans.
So Orleans is a bag builder, and you are feeding your bag with different types of workers. You've got monks, you've got knights, you've got scholars, you've got farmers, and you are drawing them out, but you're only allowed to draw a certain number every round.
Yeah.
And then you put them on your board in groups, depending on what type of actions you want to do. And then some of the actions are getting more workers to put into your bag. Some of the actions are moving by either wagon or boat on the main board, or building settlements, which get you points. And every time you add a new worker into your bag, you're moving your marker along that track, which gets you other bonuses. And it's just... there's so many, like you said, little chain reactions of things that you have to combine.
It's super fun.
The expansion adds some trade routes.
Okay.
So you're actually trying to get to certain areas to collect extra bonus points. And I think that really amps up the purpose of that map more. Without it, it's fine. But with that expansion, it's awesome. That's the trade and intrigue expansion. But Orleans is just... I've said it before about some games, and I'm probably going to say it in almost all of my top 5. It's a game that it makes me feel like I'm wearing a warm blanket when I'm done. There's something so satisfying about... I don't know if it's how smooth the actions are, or how everything's integrated into each other, or how it makes my brain... I don't know. I can't explain it. I just know it's so soothing and satisfying.
It's like how I feel about Honey Buzz.
Sure.
It's triggering all the actions that you plan, and it all work out at the end.
Yeah. Or doesn't. Sometimes.
Yeah. Then you just cover in the blanket and cry.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, Orleans is my number 5.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go up to number 4. It is one of the Stefan Feld games that I fell in love with the first. Trajan!
Yes.
It's super fun.
Super fun.
So in Trajan, okay, stay with me because there's so many actions you can do. There is the military part.
Yep.
And there is the forums. There's also building, and there's trading, which is ships, and one of my favorite. And not to forget the Mekala mechanism.
Yeah, the Mega. That's how you do all the actions. Yeah.
So pretty.
Yeah, exactly.
So there are basically 6 balls in a circle. And then each spot there is action tiles and there is Trajan tiles. And what you do is you make movement by taking all the different color of tokens from one ball and then move one, drop one, move one, drop one, and then you keep moving until you land the last one. That's the one you take, the action tile. And if you happen to have the colors in that ball matching the trading tile, then you got an additional action on it, which is so fun.
So
super
fun. Yeah.
Because you can do a lot of stuff at once.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Oh, I love this game.
It's so smooth when you play. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it's such a fantastic game.
Yeah.
My number 4 is from the same designer, Stefan Feld, and my number 4 is The Castles of Burgundy.
Not surprised.
I mean, The Castles of Burgundy is probably the most mentioned game when people tell you their favorite games of all time. Yeah. It's just kind of one of those games that it's known to be one of the great games out there.
Yeah.
It's
classic.
It's just a classic game, and it's probably the one that gives me that warm blanket feeling more than any other game.
Not crying, but actually happy.
yeah, I love it. So you have your own personal board, which has different hexes all over it that are different colors, and you're collecting the tiles up on the main board from each other based on how you have 2 dice that you're going to roll, and then they have to match where you can pick them from.
Yeah.
But there's ways to mitigate your dice by spending workers to manipulate your dice and all that. Like, I don't like when you're completely constricted by dice rolling. There always needs to be a way to mitigate that a little bit. You know, maybe at a cost, but that's fine. And then you're putting your tiles on your board, and then when you each color is a different type of tile. So some of them give you end game bonuses, some of them give you income at the end of each round, like the mines. Some of them and give you a bunch of different ways to score. And then if you complete one cluster, depending on what round it's in, you get points. So it's very point salad-y. You're just collecting points and you're selling goods, and it's
very classic Stefan Feld.
Very classic Stefan Feld.
Point salad-y.
Point salad-y. Yeah. I just love it.
The only thing not very classic Stefan Feld is this one is quite colorful.
Well, no. Ours is quite colorful.
Oh, is it?
The original was very beige.
Oh, is it?
But we ended up buying, because my friend owns the beige one, which I kind of like better. But we ended up buying the 20th anniversary or whatever it was.
Oh, I love that one then.
And it was super colorful. But
I love it.
I kind of like the beige one. It's exactly the same. It just has all the expansions in it, and they changed the art. That's it.
Okay.
But yeah, Castles of Burgundy is my number 4.
Love it.
Top 3.
Oh my gosh, you're going up to 3.
Top 3.
Now, this one, it has been on my top 1 for a very long time. It is Scythe. I know.
Scythe dropped?
Now, doesn't that just make you wonder what is number 2 and number 1? Yeah. I was crying too when I see that, but I think it is pretty legitimate.
Wow.
I know. I sit there thinking like, what? Why? What?
Okay. Very cool.
All right. So Scythe, very classic, favorite game of mine. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
I love it.
Stonemaier
Games
yep.
did a really good job. I mean, this is very classic of how you go out and explore and then encounter some combat and deploy your mechs
and your workers and your...
super fun. I love it. I remember one of the time we played with the background music, and it just gets really intense when I'm just about to encounter battle and then beat you, and then you came back and it's just like, I love it. It is quite so intense. Thematic. It's so cool.
Pretty cool, because one thing I really like about it is the combat in it is... You don't always, it's not a very combat-filled game. You use the threat of combat more like a Cold War, where you're kind of, you don't want people to come close to you.
Yeah.
So you're pretending that you could have a combat, but you don't always have to have a combat. It's more to kind of protect your area.
Yeah.
So it's not, like, a lot of people were disappointed when they thought that this was going to be like a battle type game, but it's not.
It's more of defense-ish.
You use it as your defense, but it's more about resource building and encounter cards and going out and exploring and getting resources and that kind of stuff.
Yes, you're protecting. Yeah. So instead of you're slaying people, you're combating, it's more of your defense.
Kind of.
Your field and your people, and you're just kind of helping. Hey, you're getting too close. I'm gonna come back.
Kind of.
Get you back out there.
Yeah.
It's that kind of
That's the way Judie thinks about it. I like to just go out and attack, though.
But it was super fun. Love it.
Yeah. All right. My number 3. We're in top 3. My number 3, Scythe. That's 2 exactly the same today. Yeah, Scythe. My number 3. Yeah.
How could you not? Like, so good.
I love Scythe. I'll play it with anybody. I'll play it anytime. I'll play it solo. It's got a great automa, so you can play it solo, which is fantastic. I love Scythe.
My number 2 is my new favorite.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we don't have much time to play it. It's Metal. Again,
yes, of course.
Yes, it sums up. Again, I'm sucker for art, and Metal is by far the most beautiful, wonderful art ever. So in Metal, there is a 4x4 grid, and there's north, west, east, south cards. And you basically getting your past tile, and there is 1 to 4, and one of them is question mark. So what you do is in the 4x4 grid, you use the tile to point at one direction, and then you count. That's the number you take.
Yep.
There are many different kind of cards. There is the grounding card, which is rocks or grass. And there's also discovery cards, observation cards, which is animals, and some landscape cards, how you score. You can use past tiles on those cards, or go to the campfire and use the bottom of the past tile function, and then you can
get bonus points and things like that.
Get bonus if you have those symbols in your tableau.
Absolutely.
One of the mechanism is really interesting is on the card there is the required symbol that you need to have in your tableau so you can play this card.
Yeah.
And when you play, you just cover on that symbol.
Yep.
But now that symbol is not available.
That's right.
Now you have a new symbol on top that's available. So several times I was thinking, oh, I had that symbol, where it go? Oh, wait, I covered it up.
You covered it up before, exactly.
I forgot.
Yeah.
And it is just very tricky, but very fun, challenging, but very fun.
And there's a pretty good expansion as well, the downstream expansion, where you can move your boat down the river, or down the stream, sorry, which is pretty nice too. Yeah, great game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. It's number 2.
Okay. Very cool. My number 2 is a game that you already mentioned.
Metal.
No.
Oh.
My number 2 is another Stefan Feld game, and it is Trajan.
Trajan is so good.
It is fantastic.
Number 2, I'm not surprised. Yes. Yeah. It is so good.
It's funny, right? Because both Scythe and Trajan are older games, and we've had them forever, and they've been top on my list for a very long time, and I don't think they're ever going to move. And I think it's because, I'm curious to know if I played them today for the first time. I don't know for sure that they would be that high, but for me, they've been a part of my gaming experience for so long that I just love them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've just loved Trajan for so long, and it's fantastic. But what we talked about earlier, that rondel bit it just blows my mind.
Fantastic.
It just blows my mind every time, and I love it. I think that's probably why I like Five Tribes so much. Because Five Tribes is with Trajan, it's just going around in a circle, and that's where you do your actions. Whereas in Five Tribes, you're picking them up and moving them all around the board. Kind of similar in a way.
Yeah.
But and they both really speak to me, and I really, really like that.
Yeah, that's really cool mechanism. I like it.
Yeah, that's Trajan's my number 2.
Number 2?
Yeah.
We have 3 crossovers.
I think so, yeah.
Holy moly.
2 of them were the exact same number.
Now.
Number 1, your favorite game of all time.
Okay. This one, I was shocked at first. But then I realized, okay, why is number 1? Okay, it's got a very strong grasp in my heart. into it. Into it. It's The Lost Ring of Arnak.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something completely different.
What is it?
Wow, I thought you were going to say Wingspan. Have you already said Wingspan?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
So,
yes, I love this game.
Lost Rings of Arnak.
I love this game.
I have memory with my brother how we watch MacGyvers, how we watch Indiana Jones, how we watch, those
Adventure type.
adventure type. And
MacGyver.
hey, you know what? I think he was pretty handsome.
Fair enough.
I got a sentimental feeling to
Absolutely.
it because I think I share this good memory with my brother watching Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And I think this game, it just go into my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
And it played very
Absolutely.
smoothly because when you go out,
Yeah.
explore or overcome the creature, you're kind of scared, but then overcome, become friends, and they help you. And then you go out the temple and try to get scores,
Yeah.
which I couldn't. I suck at it. But it was so good, so challenging, so soothing when you play.
So great, yeah.
So good. I love it.
Yeah, you make a really good point. So I'm not necessarily a theme-based board gamer, right? Like Castles of Burgundy, Trajan. These are games that are top on my list. However, so is Scythe and Lost Ruins of Arnak, which are very thematic. So I don't necessarily need theme, but I think something like Lost Ruins of Arnak, if it can integrate the theme so perfectly, that really hits it for me. Do you know what I mean?
It sure does.
Like it just did, it integrated that theme so well. It was so perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
And once you play it, you're everything else. You're just in this world. You're not there anymore. You're in this world, and it is so.
It is so good. Yeah. Wow, you're number one.
Number one, and I'm glad it is.
Yeah. Very cool. Okay, my number one. I don't think is much of a surprise. I think everybody knows what my favorite game is right now. My number one is Ark Nova.
Of course.
I love Ark Nova.
If it's not on your list, then I will drop my jaw.
It's my number one favorite game of all time. So, okay, I'm going to tell you this. When we were looking at this list, I was thinking, is Ark Nova still really my favorite? Because I hadn't played it in a while. Then I played it on BGA with some friends.
Yes.
From the Nerd Shelves. We have a group of friends that we play on BGA. And I played it on BGA. And all of these little kind of combinations of things were happening, and I was planning where to put my action card, and I had to plan a couple of steps ahead, and all these things started kind of coming into fruition, you know, and I was like, oh yeah, oh good brain. Oh yeah, this is still my favorite game. I love it. So first I want to thank Mr. Coaster 1 for introducing this game to me.
Thank you.
At Dice Tower West a couple of years ago.
Yes.
And then I came home and bought a copy as soon as it was available. But basically what you are doing is you are running a zoo.
Yes.
But you're trying to run the zoo in a good way, right? So it's all about performing conservation acts and partnering with universities and partnering with other zoos and building the most efficient park. And the cards have been compared to Terraforming Mars in the past. Like they have tags, and you can use those tags to fill prerequisites to play certain cards, and that's where the similarities end to me. The cards are very similar, but it has that type of mechanic in it. And yeah, it's just, there's a lot going on. It's pretty long. It's a long game. But
it's so long, it's not on my list.
yeah. It's unfortunate because we're not going to play it because you don't really play it as much as I do. So, but wow, this game.
I don't have 4 hours.
I love this game.
Yeah.
Right now it's my number one favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
And it got a lot of hype, and it was deserved.
Yeah.
Luckily, I got to play it before all the big hype. Right? We got to play it pretty early before it was even released in Canada anyways. And fantastic. Love it.
We live streamed this game, and I think I have to be fair about this. I know I don't play long hours games like Rebellion, but but when we live stream Ark Nova, I wasn't even thinking about time, and it just went past, and I went, "Oh, we finished already. Okay, that's cool."
Well, we had to do it in 2 parts. We had to do it in two different days
because it includes teaching.
Yeah, exactly. The teach took a lot of it.
Yeah. Other than that, I think it's pretty fun. Yeah, I just couldn't make it to my top 100 because it plays too long.
I can't even believe it's not even in your top 100. But anyways, my number one favorite game of all time.
You need to write your Pub Meeple. Have we done it?
We're done. That's like 5 high fives today from you.
I know. We have 2 crossover exactly the same.
Exactly the same, yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thanks for sticking with us through everything, everybody.
Yes, thank you so
Yeah.
much. This has been so fun.
Yeah, it's been
So
fantastic.
good.
It's taken us a while to get all the videos out, but it's been fantastic.
And thank you for editing, because this take a long time for editing.
It does.
I can't always remember all the games that I don't play for a while, but still on my list. I love them for a reason, but I don't remember. And thank you.
No problem.
Stick with me.
No problem.
For the editing.
Of course.
So, have you done Pub Meeple? Why don't you leave a comment and tell us? Or if you already have your top 1 to top 10, leave a comment and tell us. And that will be it for today. Until next time.
Go ahead and get another game off of your nerd shelves.
Take care.
Bye.